Hey everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis. So as we await the next update, the cultural city next weekend, Chalons, etc., I got a story request from a viewer and wanted to go over it. Kind of have a couple questions with it. One, are they right? I kind of think they are. And two, does this happen on your server? Probably on many people's servers. Anyways, let's look at Chalons. So I just want to show you guys this. Look at our matchup. Looks pretty favorable. Now, I do always say all it takes is one of those alliances to be two K45s or like a 45, 44 who are like 60 billion each, and all your hopes and dreams are done. We are in 68th place, but if we win that, it should put us solidly into at least a tiebreaker, probably in. I wish I could say it was because of our hard work, but really it's probably just because there's a lot of merges and it eliminated lots of the competition. We'll see. Let's see what happens. Anyways, we are playing good though. But let's get to this story. So before I read it, it basically is, your classic server whales story, not getting along, wanted my advice, etc. When I get complaints like that, I do pretty much typically say, well, like the whale, like you got to get along with them or join them if you can't beat them. Or I can give strategies. Like there's things that you could just pester and annoy the whale into till they submit, right? It depends how big of a whale. If they're an absolute like whale of whale, they're not listening to anything. They don't care. They're like, whatever. I spend $3,000 minimum an event and I'm doing whatever I want. But if it's just on a large alliance, you can make them submit by countering, but that doesn't seem to be what the question is here. So the question has to do with extortion. So their whale is forcing them to pay for things like the right to do barbarians and pyramids, and to have a nap, to be able to farm, to be able to kill monsters, to be able to get thrown, to be able to do good in weekly events. Basically anything that you could imagine, their whale asks for, stuff like resources, or basically that's what they ask for, right? I will say personally that I know servers that people pay stamina to their whale and then they get favorable things. Resources, I've heard of it, but it's just kind of long-term not sustainable because like stamina is just easy. But now with waybills moving away, they're kind of becoming more difficult. I will say on my first server, we had this guy named Virus. I've told this story many times. I love Virus. He was great. He was a non-whale who would extort whales for stuff because he would just pester them. He would, bump them off. He wouldn't even have to tile attack. He would just teleport to where they're sending all their alts to resources. Like if they're going to here, he would just go beat them to it and bump them off with like 2 troops and just do it for hours all day and take monsters and all that sort of stuff, of course. But anyways, let's get back to the story. So the whale of ours likes to attack us anytime in pyramids, barbarians, relics, farms, doesn't matter what alliance, so we can do nothing. I understand there's servers like ours out there. The problem we have is that this whale is now trying to extort resources from alliances to be able to sit on the throne, have a nap for 1 week, and so forth. I think the pictures I have explain this. I won't show the pictures because I don't want to show who the people are. We've contacted Evony, and their standard reply is that they don't get involved and to contact the king or queen of the server to negotiate with the whale. And yet the whale controls the throne and who goes on there. So obviously they have to contact the whale to negotiate with the whale. That makes sense. But it is weird that Evony would say contact your king or queen. I do like that Evony does say we don't get involved in inter-server politics, but yet they kind of do with their report button. That's a little hypocritical. So anyways, that's not the hypocrite in here. My argument is that this person is allowed to extort resources from players just to be able to play in events and get thrown. And yet Evony have an issue with farms and buying resources from third parties, which is, to be honest, hypocritical. Extortion is our issue. We have tried many, many times in the past few years to negotiate with this whale, but he breaks his own rules. And when he feels like it, he just goes and attacks anything and anyone anytime. So trying to reason with him is useless. Now, I will say that I'm not going to stick up for the whale. I don't know the situation, but I will say that sometimes people do things like the whale it might seem to you, he attacked my farm for no reason, but someone in your alliance or another alliance started speeding to his monsters or the ones that he thought were his, and then he reacts. Now, not saying it's fair what he does, but it's usually not for no reason. Like if a whale's happy with how the server's being run, they generally mind their own business and just kill monsters and play Battlefield. Now, extortion. That is a very interesting word and term. And I do agree, sort of, that Evony saying you can't buy resources from third parties, wouldn't getting resources from a player, a third party, in return but to give them something like wings. Hey, I'll sit out of SVS if you pay me this. Because really, what's the difference between give me $50 or give me 5 billion resource? I will say that in the images that I'm not going to show because it has player names, and we all know sometimes I'm not good at blanking things out, that just going to do a double check on that, make sure that it was no names or servers were on that. The whale wasn't really asking for too much. I saw it was like 1 billion of each a week, and you can have a nap, 5 billion of each a week, and an alliance can have it. Another price for Throne. Throne seems kind of silly. I don't know the whale's situation. Obviously, if it's a whale who plays alone with no one else, which is very rare and probably unlikely, because that's the type of person who wouldn't care and would let people have their way. I would say that you could just take Throne when they sleep. Like, they can only fight it off for so many hours, but I really doubt that's the situation here. But what do you guys think? So I assume there are servers out there that do have whales asking for resources. I have seen it in some of the biggest servers or alliances in the game. But when I read those things, I see that more as like just F you, I'm not negotiating with you. When they say something like, you want peace? Give me 50 billion resource. It's usually just like, shut up. But that's their way of saying it. And no one's going to pay it anyways. Our server, we don't do anything like that with resources, and I don't think anybody would pay. I don't think anyone outside our alliance really even has alts, so they don't really, except for Black Fur. Black Fur, when that guy drops bubble, man, it's 20 billion each. Everybody, it's a race to get him. No one's posting when his bubble drops. Someone is just going over and taking it all. But other than him on our server, not many people in other alliances would have the ability to even do that. So not sure, but let me know in the comments what you guys think about is it a hypocritical situation for Evony to say that's allowable? I guess they didn't really say that's allowable, but it's obviously been reported and they've done nothing about it. And they're allowing the person to do that, but also just kind of turning a blind eye and not watching or caring. I want to share that with you guys. Let me know in the comments if you guys have similar situations on your server, and like, subscribe, leave a comment.